Hi everyone, this is just a brief summary of what you've got to do for Assessment 2. Remember, it's worth 25% of your total mark and is due on the 16th of January. The length is 3,000 words. Now that's as a guide. I don't want 4,000, but 3,000 be good, broken up into the 2 questions. It needs to be submitted through EAST, so make sure you all submit through EAST. There shouldn't be any problems about any of you not accessing EASTs this time round. Question 1, what you've got to do is you've got to find a newspaper article or web page on an item of accounting news. It's got to be referring to a current event, so the article needs to be published after the 1st of October last year. It could come from one of the professional journals, such as Charter or In the Black, or from a newspaper. So the Financial Review or the business section of, say, the Sydney Morning Herald or the Age or one of those papers. Don't use an academic journal because academic journals usually don't address current issues. And they're usually much too long. You've got to make sure that this article and the issue covered in the article is different from the issue that you're going to cover in question 2. And if you've got any problems, please get in touch with me. You need to explain the article in your own words. So no quotes out of the article, just explain it in your own words. And then you've got to relate that article to one or more of the theories and topics you've studied. Some good ones might be regulation or measurement. And you've got to support your analysis of the assumptions and implications of the topic with appropriate references in APA style. Now, we've got an article here. Target scandal claims another victim. The Wesfarmers department store chief under pressure to assess whether to accelerate the turnaround strategy or follow a sharp fall in earnings. Okay, so this is, how are they going to manipulate earnings possibly? So you've got to really think about what the issue is going to be. So this is in the business section of the Sydney Morning Herald. You need to provide a copy of the article with details of the source, the date and page number with your answer, and you actually get a mark for doing that. If we come down to here, we've got question 1. You get a mark for having a copy of the item in there. You get half a mark for a link, but we do prefer you to have a copy in the assignment. Just cut and paste it into your assignment or add it as a PDF. So remember, you've got 2 marks for the description of the major issue. You've got to link those major issues in the article to one or more of the topics. And you've got to use the source material to analyze the underlying assumptions of the accounting theories and whether or not the arguments have been supported. So they're the criteria for this particular question. And remember, 1,500 words. Then we come to question 2. Now you've got to find a current exposure draft. You can go to IASB, the International Accounting Standards Board, the Australian Accounting Standards Board, or FASB. You can type in IASB exposure draft and comment letters or FASB exposure draft or comment letters, and you'll get some details. I find FASB pretty easy to get, and these ones I've done, gone to FASB Home projects and comment letters, and we've got comment letters on these particular exposure draft. they're doing some improvements on the financial instruments exposure draft. And so you can go and view them. Now what you need to do is select a sample, and you're going to select 4, ideally from different types of organizations, an accounting body, industry, companies or corporate bodies. And if you're having trouble, get in touch with me and I can help you with it. Now what you've got to do is outline the major issues covered in the exposure draft. What's it trying to do? What's it trying to change? You've got to outline the views presented. So they might be in agreement or disagreement, or a mixture of agreement or disagreement with the exposure draft. They might say it's burdensome, or they might say, yes, it's going to look after it very well. And you've got to say whether or not these comments can be interpreted as being for or against the regulation. Then you've got to go and identify or apply each of the theories of regulation. We're looking at public interest, private interest, or capture, and apply those to the comment letters and see whether those theories, or one of those theories, can actually explain the comments in the letters. So you might find one is a reflection of public interest, another is a reflection of private interest, another is a reflection of capture. We don't expect that all 3 theories will apply to a single comment letter. Now you don't need to attach the exposure draft, but you do need to attach your comment letters to your report. So let's look at our criteria. You've got to have your 4 comment letters included. For 1 mark, you've got to outline the major issues for 1 mark. You need to decide whether there's an agreement or disagreement between the exposure draft and the comments, and assessment as to whether or not the authors are using the arguments for or against regulation in their views, and then apply the theories of regulation, public interest, private interest, and capture to the comments letters. And of course, we're expecting critical capacity and academic writing, and there's 7 marks there for that. And make sure that you use the APA 6 referencing style, and 2 marks there. Okay, so that's a brief rundown of this particular assignment. Good luck, and I hope you've started it.